Hey everybody, what's up? I have not recorded in a while, and luckily for me, that is not because of negative performance on the market. We have actually been having a phenomenal month so far. I just hit $10,000 in realized gains for the year, which is pretty cool. Another, however, couple thousand unrealized at the moment, which is all, well, actually, it's probably a little less than that now. But anyway, doing very, very well. We just saw the market take a big fat crap on Friday, mostly due to tariff heat spicing things up a little bit. As well as that, the overall market is not looking fantastic right now. The government shutdown has caused a lot of uncertainty. In my opinion, part of the government shutdown could possibly be delaying economic reports because they're most likely very negative. There was a private employment report released a couple days ago that showed the private sector declined again in the past month, which is not good. So rates are being cut, which should, in theory, improve the employment situation. So we won't see any effects from that probably for a couple months. The problem is that the employment situation is delayed, where we continuously revise numbers as the months go on. So, say a report from 3 or 4 months ago gets revised over the next 3 months. And so we really don't know exactly how it looked until 3 months later. So, right now, the reports are very bad that are coming out. We were supposed to have some employment situation reports either a week or two ago, and that got completely delayed because of the government shutdown, which is not great. In my opinion, that is not good at all. Um, it basically, I saw this Yahoo Finance article, the Fed is flying blind. So basically, if the Fed decides, okay, we don't know what's happening, we're going to not cut rates again this year, well, then that's probably going to be very, very rough on the job market going forward. It'll leave inflation lower, but at that point, it may just see growth in general stall, which is not good. Um, Very tough situation. The last Federal Reserve meeting that they had, Powell really highlighted that, which, I mean, it makes sense. That's kind of just where we're at the moment. But anyway, let's get into the portfolio. I've talked for 3 minutes now about the economy, but economy and the market really doesn't matter for me. I trade individuals, as the three people who may follow this channel know. So anyway, let's get into my actual portfolio. All right, so portfolio is currently sitting just over $45,000. Now, if you check out my last portfolio update, you would know that that is about $4,000 higher than about not 2 weeks ago, roughly 3 weeks ago when my last report happened. So to be fair, about half of that is from straight up just getting paid and depositing it into the portfolio. But I actually did realize a very good bit of money so far in quarter 4, which is October. So in the past 11 days, I've realized about $1,000 worth of gains. And at the end of September, I also realized a bit more. So looking pretty solid. Unfortunately, the taxes situation is going to be a real pain next year, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, making money and looking good. So bonds are slowly dying out. If you don't remember, I cannot buy bonds anymore, from what I understand from Vanguard, because they're going to make the single bond purchase limit $10,000 instead of 1,000. Now, I actually went on to Vanguard the other day and looked at it, and it seemed like I could still buy them for 1,000. So maybe I will continue doing that, but I think I'm going to continue to keep it around this 10% level. I used to have it at like 15-20%, and that is just way too much. It doesn't really give me a whole lot of flexibility. Um, but either way, what are you going to do? ETFs sitting at 18% at the moment. I would like that to be higher. And if we go over here and look at the market, by the way, this is my prediction for what the market will do. hopefully we see a nice 10% plus decline from the highs right now. We saw a very, very bloody Friday where this very roughly charted trend line has just gotten demolished, which is awesome. Personally, in my opinion, that is awesome. Gives a very good chance to buy into things at much better prices, which we'll get into in a moment. Sitting at 26% cash. I was going to say, I would like to reallocate or move my portfolio around once the market drops a good bit. Hopefully, when the market drops a good bit, and I will put a lot more into my ETFs and kind of rebalance that to get around that 25% target, which is my long-term target for ETFs. Just that's kind of the anchor of my portfolio, giving me some stability and some consistent long-term returns, things like that. And you can see those individual ETFs right down here if you're interested in what I have. Equal investments into all of them. However, the balances, of course, are different. But anyway, 26% cash at the moment. It was actually at just about 40%. However, on Friday, when I saw the market take its big fat crap, I decided to put a pretty good bit into some of my stocks that I have, which I'll get into in a moment. So long-term stocks are currently sitting at 13% of the portfolio, and then swing trades are the final 35%. So year-to-date return, 61.5%. Looking pretty solid. Really can't complain. I actually, if we go to my nice little, very well organized and high tech record keeping, I actually topped out at 67%, almost 68% for the year, which is awesome. But unfortunately, we dropped a pretty good bit. Uh, Although you could see the market dropped as well. So the gap that I have, which is this number on the right here, stayed just about the same as it was dropping. So we still have an over 50% gap versus the S&P, which is really what I'm going. My main goal is beating the market as much as I can. So returning as much as possible is awesome, but realistically, if you can beat the market, you'll return excellent either way. So my goal is always beating the market by as much as I can. So anyway, let's get into the actual stocks. So big change ups from my last video. If you happen to be updated on what I had, which I kind of doubt, but moved a ton of stuff around. So also one thing to note, I did switch up a long term TMC rode up, which actually I could just show the chart here. Let's show that. They kind of blew up over the past few weeks, hitting a peak of right around, actually slightly over $10. It looks like high of 10.07. So if we look at the cost basis here, which I don't think, yeah, it won't show, but I sold almost all of what I had, 125 shares at about $9.50 a share. Right now it's at $8.89, or it closed at $8.89. I'm expecting it to probably do a little bit of a retest here. As we can see from this last big peak they had, it hit right around the $8 range and then dropped back down to under $6. So here it hit the $10. If it hits below like 750 maybe, I will most likely be repurchasing all those shares to hold long term. So that's the only reason. It was just I returned well over. I think it was at almost 90% when it was at its peak at right around 950 when I sold it. When you have those kind of returns in that short of a time, you kind of have to take profit there. I mean, it would be stupid not to. So I still have 25 shares. I moved it to the swing trade section just to, you know, so that I know I'm actively trading it, while these stocks down here, I am not actively trading. Another one I also sold that was long-term was Novo Nordisk. The reason I did that was honestly just because it wasn't moving as much as I was hoping. So if we go to the beautiful weekly view, I bought Novo at about 47, 48 a share, sold it right in the upper to mid 50s, which is where it's at right now. But basically, I just wasn't seeing a whole bunch of movement, and I think it's probably going to continue trending down. So I figured sell it off now. If I want to buy back into it in the future, I can. But Anyway, that's where we're at. Other than that, all the other long terms are here to stay. Paramount Skydance is doing very well. They just announced another acquisition as well as a possible other acquisition of Warner Brothers, which would be crazy. Not sure if that would probably have some kind of antitrust lawsuit involved with it. So I doubt that's going to happen, but you never know. CNC still being held and looking great. I'm expecting to do very well on that. And then PayPal, I'm positive on now, which is cool. I was actually significantly more positive on PayPal, but unfortunately, the market had different plans for me. But if we look, PayPal actually reached a recent high of 77, and I was very happy with that. And then it dropped almost 8% on Friday, which is fine. It's whatever, but either way, kind of rough. So anyway, let's get into the swing trades now. So Sweet Green is the new largest stock in the portfolio. I'm down slightly on it. However, I just love the chart. And I'm not going to go through all these because I'll be talking for 45 minutes if I do that. But I just really like the chart of Sweet Green. They've been in this very tight channel. Let's see if we can make that a little bit easier to see. So there have been some outlier movements in the channel, as you could see, but it's been very nicely fitting in here. Now, unfortunately, the market is probably going to have something to say to that, and it may break down out of it again, at which point I'm honestly just going to buy more. With this company specifically, it just seems like it's very, very solid. The price is at a crazy point right now where they have seen fantastic growth for a while now. I mean, just look at the RSI. They haven't really, and that is tough to see, huh? Whoops. It's been downtrending for so long and hasn't hit the what's it called, moving average for a little while now. So I think it's kind of due for a bounce up, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But either way, I think it's looking very solid with the chart. Lulu is just in a tough spot, and I am down a good bit on it, which it just happens. Enphase is fantastic. I sold and bought Enphase probably, and I reset the cost basis tracking on that too as well. Dang it. Sold and bought Enphase like twice now. I just recently sold when it peaked at 39, literally on Thursday. I think that happened, which I will check now. And yeah, on Thursday, it had a big pop up to 39. And I really just thought, like, okay, it's been bouncing in this range for a couple weeks now. And I honestly didn't see it going up without making a new low. And I thought that low was coming, but then it kind of started rising again. So I was like, okay, we're just going to take profit here and see what happens. So I sold all of it at 39. The next day it plummeted, or actually same day. I sold all of it at 39, rebought at, let's see here, 36.68. And then on Friday, I bought even more, doubled the position at 34. Now, if you remember, I used to have well over 150 shares of Enphase. So this isn't too crazy of an amount for me right now, but I really think long term it is very solid, and just for the tradability of the stock, it's looking very good. So yeah, it's a solid one. That's all I need to know. Fresh Pet has been doing pretty roughly. I really don't have too much to FRPT. That's what it is. I don't have too much to say about it at the moment, unfortunately, but there is kind of a channel that they have here that they're moving in. However, I don't know how solid that is, to be honest. But it looks okay. I think the value is there. I think the growth is there. So if I have to switch this one over to the long-term section, I would be mostly fine with it. The only thing is there's a very, and sorry for twitching around so much here, there's a very, very long-term channel that's kind of here. Now, I don't know how well that holds up, but you never know. It could make a bottom before then and continue heading higher. Just won't know for sure. But basically, it's kind of just wait and see. I don't have a ton of money in it, so if it does end up continuing lower, I'm just going to move it to the long term and wait it out, I think. Anyway, Snapchat moving forward. So Snapchat, I do have my full record of purchases here, as we can see. And honestly, it is looking very, very good. So right now we are at 778. If we look recently here, I did a lot of buying at, sorry, I'm trying to find it here. So I did a lot of buying in the low $7 range. 7.15, 7.17, 16, 7.10, and 7.19. I just recently sold at 8.95, 7.84, a little over $8 a couple times, and then I just repurchased at 7.92. So not too bad. The reason my cost average is 489 is because I have taken or recognized a lot of profit. So that profit is worked into this cost basis, which is why my cost average is lower. So basically, because I realized a lot of gains, in order for me to lose money on this trade, the stock would have to hit 489, which is it going to do that? Probably not. I think Snap is probably one of the easiest plays that I can do at the moment. I know the chart is kind of a mess right now, but all you need to know is that under like $8 right now is extreme value, in my opinion, and it'll be heading higher in the future. That's my opinion, at least. Other than that, Kava is just about the same spot. I just recently bought Sprouts Farmers Market. I don't think I went over that. In a video. At least I shouldn't have, I don't think. Basically, it just, yeah, I think it's going to do well. That's all I'm going to say for most of these, because I know for a fact the video is going to be well over 20 minutes, but we'll see what happens. Just bought back into Asan, which I actually traded a long time ago. And by a long time ago, I mean like maybe 3 or 4 months. But basically, it's just kind of hitting a support line, and I think it'll bounce back up. I think it should be pretty easy to see this hit like 14 something. It should be a very simple 5% trade, but could also go higher. I think there's a lot of demand for the company. I believe they're in software. Should be pretty solid. And then SPT, I forget what that even is, unfortunately, but I know it's Sprout something. Okay. Sprout Social is another one where I think I don't have it like charted yet with the patterns that I'm seeing. But my friend told me to buy it, so that's what I did. And I think it's just kind of in an extreme value situation. If we look at the RSI, we are currently at 25 on the weekly time frame too, which is very, very, very low for a weekly time frame. On the daily, we are at 22. The lowest it went during its last dip, if that could go away for me, is at 16.8. I don't think it's going to go that low. I could go that low, but we'll just have to wait and see. This is another one where I'm kind of just, if it goes lower, I'm just going to buy more of it. That's really the only strategy here. So anyway, we have seen very, very strong growth. Last 2 months, double-digit percentage, and this is including deposits. Don't forget. However, I only deposit around $2,000 a month. So if we look, I've been averaging 3,000 to 5,000 a month. So the gains have been pretty crazy over the past couple months. My original estimate, which if we look in my historical data section here, I wanted to end this year at 50,000. And right now, if we go back, I'm projecting myself to hit right around 56,000. So it's looking very, very good, basically, for me. Now, I might have to probably revise all of that down, which isn't too crazy, but the market has been dropping, which is lowering all my ETFs and stuff. So, and all my stocks in general. But gonna have to wait and see how much the market actually drops before I revise this. But right now, just with depositing what I make from working, I should be able to hit 50,000 by the end of the year, no matter what. So pretty good, pretty awesome. Very happy with the results there. I don't know what the goal is going to be for next year if I want to try to get to 100,000 by the end of the year, but we will just have to wait and see what occurs there. So, other than that, I think that's all I have. Yeah, nothing else I really want to go through. So, that's about it. Comment something if you want to. I'll answer questions or anything else if you're listening for this long. But that's about it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.